how many people do you know that start the new year and they're like, okay, I'm going to the gym and I'm going to work out every day and I'm going to walk every day. I'm going to eat well. I'm not going to drink. I'm going to quit smoking. All of these things. And then you talk to them maybe 2 weeks, a month in, and then you're like, how's it going with all of that? And they're like, oh, yeah, I fell off. There's a reason for that. There's a reason, right? Because we can't go from 0 to 60. Welcome to the Core Happiness Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Banks, a mindset and positive psychology coach. On this podcast, we discuss all things related to creating happiness from within. So let's do it. Hello, and welcome back to Core Happiness. If you are joining us from the podcast, thank you so much for your support. As you know, we're 3 years in now. This is the beginning of our third year, and this is our first time doing YouTube. So I'm not a YouTuber. This is all new, so please bear with us. And if you are joining us for the first time, thank you and welcome. I hope you enjoy what we're about and what we're about to go through. So we're in January, and this is a time where people are really hyper-focused on setting resolutions, New Year's goals. We're really kind of in that mode of, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? Like, some people are doing dry January. Some people are hitting the gym every day. But we are really in this new beginning. And what do we want to do for this new beginning? How do we want to make the most out of this new beginning? Which is great. However, we are also in a time where, because it's January, we feel like we have to start these new habits and we have to do all of these things now, first. And that creates a lot of overwhelm. So one thing I want to talk about today is just how to give ourselves grace and make sure that we're setting our goals to be substantial, but yet achievable, so we don't fall off. I mean, how many people do you know that start the new year and they're like, okay, I'm going to the gym and I'm going to work out every day and I'm going to walk every day. I'm going to eat well. I'm not going to drink. I'm going to quit smoking. All of these things. And then you talk to them maybe 2 weeks, a month in, and then you're like, how's it going with all of that? And they're like, oh, yeah, I fell off. There's a reason for that. There's a reason, right? Because we can't go from 0 to 60. So one perspective that I wanted to share with everybody is that just because it's the new year doesn't mean you have to start everything on that new year, like in January. For example, even back in the day when Romans used to schedule their new year around seasons. So spring was related to renewals, fresh starts, blossoming. And that's when they had their new year. So obviously, when you think about the financial world, it's very similar, right? A fiscal year starts April, October. So there's no need to rush your plans. New Year should be inspiring, yes, but it doesn't have to be January 1st. It doesn't mean you have to do everything in January. And as we're coming to the end of January, I'm hoping you find this a little bit refreshing, because your new year could be whatever works for you. It could be February, right? Like, what if we use January as a time for looking back at what we've accomplished, looking back at what went well last year, what didn't go so well last year, and then making our plans and maybe starting our new habits in February. And what I want to do is, like, and I'm doing this for myself. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, but it's just so relaxing. It's just so much better. And honestly, it's just not nearly as overwhelming. So reframe January as not the time to just kick off all your habits, but as a time to reset so you can start to build your new habits. That would be my main suggestion. And again, like I said, I've been doing this. This is now like 3 years that I've been doing this, and it is so much better. You are able to actually stick with your goals. So, okay, what does that mean? We're going to use this time as a reset and a fresh start. What does that mean? Number one, reflect on the past year. What went well? What didn't go so well? Celebrate anything that did go well. What did you learn? What did you accomplish? What made you feel good? And then look at the things that were the opposite of that. What could you learn? What made you feel really bad that you really hope that you don't want to have to do with again? Like, is there anything within your control that you can do to not experience that again? Think about things from that perspective. And then connect with your core self. I say this all the time, but if you don't know what your core values are, it's going to feel like you're just constantly lost in the wind. So how do you connect with your core values? Figure out what's most important to you. And then sometimes, whether you don't have to be big into meditation, I am, so I say meditate on things, but you can always just journal it, write it down. You can ask other people who are close to you, family members, significant others, best friends. Ask them if you don't feel like you know. But everybody has core values and things that they hold more important than anything else in the world. That's what you need to connect to, and make sure that you're putting time and effort into those things. Because if you don't, you're going to start to feel lost, honestly. And let's face it, it is so easy to get lost nowadays in today's world. There's so many distractions, so many things going on. You have to remain true to you, but you have to know who that is. And that's a whole other topic that I'm going to get into later. I want to focus on making sure that we're starting this year off right. But try to connect with your core self. And there's so many different resources and things that we've talked about on the actual podcast if you want to go listen to that, or you can just visit corehappiness.com. We have so many resources for that. But make sure that you are connecting to your core self. Make sure that you are looking back and being true to what you want and who you are. The next thing that I wanted to bring up is focus on not just what you want to accomplish and not just what your goals are for the year, but focus on how you want to feel. And I'm going to say that again. Focus on how you want to feel when you are setting these goals. So don't just go in and be like, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds this year, so I'm going to start hitting the gym every single day. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel healthier? Do you want to feel lighter? Do you want to feel more confident? Focus on how you want to feel as your why, not just what the goal is, not just the end goal and the end game. And the reason that this is important is because when you set your intentions based on how you want to feel, that gives you so much flexibility in terms of accomplishing that. So for example, you could feel lighter, you could feel more self-esteem, you could feel more confident if you lost 20 pounds. Maybe your clothes fit better. Maybe you would feel those things when you started to cook better. Maybe you feel those things just because you're going to the gym every day and you feel better, you feel confident. So focus on how you want to feel versus just the end game. And if eventually you get to 40 pounds, great. But the thing is, you actually accomplished your goal much sooner than even hitting that 40 pounds. So that's what I mean by that. And then the next tip is just make sure it's realistic. Okay? I know that this is a very clear one, but a lot of times we don't do that. A lot of times we want instant gratification. We just want to get there. Just get me to the goal, right? But if your goal, for example, is like, I want to run a marathon this year, you're not going to go sign up for a 5K immediately. Like, break it down first, especially if you've never run before. How about walking? And then maybe speed walking, and then maybe running short distances. What is that thing that they always said when we were like, I'm dating myself, but when in school we had our physical education and we'd be on a track in PE and they would say, run the straights, walk the curves, right? So you don't have to run the whole thing. Take things in bite-sized steps and actions. And that way you are also making sure that you're working on increasing that confidence. And the more that you increase confidence, the more momentum you give yourself. And then it's hard to fall off, right? If you're like, gosh, that goal of 5K is so far away, I can barely even, walk a mile without getting winded. Then great. Start lower so you don't set yourself up for failure. Don't set yourself up to be disappointed. Like, make sure your expectations are actually realistic. And it's okay to take small steps. Don't think that you're not going to make progress because it's a small step. It's actually the opposite. Small steps equal more progress than trying to make huge leaps at a time. And then the other thing that I always bring up on this podcast is progress over perfection. As long as you are moving forward and making small, steady actions, you're winning. You're winning. There's no other way to put it. You're winning. Just be consistent and make sure that you're moving forward and steady. Slow and steady wins the race, right? That's all you need. You're winning. Just as a tip for those who are looking to start the year off right and wanting to set a good example or just try new things. Try a vision board. Once again, I'm going to go back to a vision board with a twist. This is not just going and finding photos and cutting it out and putting it into a board. That's so dated, right? What we want to do is we want to go in and we want to, going back to how we feel, find photos that make you feel something. Again, focus on the sensory. How do you want to feel? What inspires something in you? And it doesn't have to just be an image. It could be something like, I know some people like to do vision boards and things like Canva or something like that. You can. And you know what? You can also do in Canva, you can add sounds. So include sounds. If you do a physical one, include textures or something but think outside the box and really make sure that you're including sensory elements. And then when you have that, make sure that you're writing down your why. I want to feel this way because of X, Y, and Z. I want to experience this because of X, Y, and Z. Another reason why this is important is because science shows us that when we can visualize, it helps our mind already act as if, right? So if I want to visualize myself exercising every day, getting ready for this 5K, my mind is going to start to act as if. And this vision board of yours will just be a reminder and an inspiration for you to act as if. And then it helps you do. The other thing that I would suggest is don't do the same things every year. There's something that is called micro adventuring. And this is really just trying anything new every single month. Okay. If you are, let's say, cooking, you're a cook. You don't have to be a great cook, but you make meals for yourself every day. Try a new recipe every month. That counts. If you're a walker and you go to the park all the time, try to walk in a new location. Try to look up a new park, maybe a city over. If you are thinking about something like a hobby, try to take a workshop in something, but try something new every single month. That is a great way to, one, figure out what excites you, what motivates you, and it helps you stay in touch with what you care about, those core values. So try that. And then to make sure that you don't get off track, because accountability is always a big thing, try power hours. So this could be anything from an hour a week to focus on your goals, or if it can't be a full hour, then even the micro checking in at the end of the day, setting your intentions and your goals for the next day, or your action items for the next day, that counts too. But just make sure that you have that time to reflect and track your progress. Because if you're not tracking your progress, then it's not going to happen. And you're going to not feel motivated and you're going to fall off because you're not seeing the progress and you're not seeing how it's worth it. And we want to make sure that you feel supported. We want to make sure that you're motivated. We want to make sure that you're moving forward in the best way possible. So make sure to track your progress. And then, last but not least, have fun. How many times, people who set a resolution, or maybe it's you set a resolution and then it's not even fun. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to the gym every day. I'm running every day. I'm doing all these things. But man, this is a grind. And then you wake up in the morning and you find yourself dragging because you're just like, I don't really want to, but I know I should. And now it feels like I have to. So just have fun with it. Again, if fitness is something that you want to do, have fun with it. It doesn't have to always be going to the gym. It could be dance classes. It could be yoga, Pilates. There's so many other things that you could do that might be more fun, that helps you stick to your goal, right? If you are trying to cook better, again, trying new recipes or making it fun by inviting friends over and cooking together or taking a cooking class, but just incorporate some level of fun and spontaneity into it also, because that will help ensure that we stay on track. Or make a game out of it. You can make a game out of things. Whatever you need to do that is fun for you, incorporate it in. Then you can ensure that you are going to stay on track. So that's pretty much it. It's just a quick intro to the year. Welcome to 2025. I know that last year was a tough year for a lot of you, and this year hopefully is better. But at the same time, we can only control what we can control. And that is ourselves, our intentions and our actions and our thoughts. So think about all of that as you're going into this year, and do not put extra stress on yourself. You don't need that. It's the last thing you need. Be gentle with yourself. Not saying you shouldn't set goals, you should. But first, give yourself time to reset and then move forward to set your goals. And you'll see, you're going to feel better about them. You're going to feel more motivated. You're going to stay on track better, and you're going to achieve those goals faster than you would have any other time. I promise. Now, if you have liked this video, subscribe and make sure that you get more. We do have amazing guests lined up for this year, so you won't want to miss it. So please subscribe if you want to hear it. And again, this is our first year doing YouTube. This is our actual first video doing YouTube for the podcast. So please be kind, be nice. And then outside of that, if you have not listened to our podcast before, and this is the first time that you are hearing about core happiness, I encourage you to go and check out the podcast. There are 2 years worth of fantastic episodes with so many great doctors and coaches and people who are expert in their fields. I guarantee you, you're going to find something over there that's so helpful to you. So be sure to check it out. And then last but not least, leave me a message in the comments below. Let me know if this is helpful, what worked for you, what didn't work for you. I read every single comment that ever comes in for Core Happiness, and we just want to make sure that we're supporting you the best way that we can, because after all, that's why we're here, is to support you. And the best way to support us, because all this is all free resources for you, is just to like and subscribe or leave a review. Okay? And that's it. Until the next time, be gentle with yourself. Be your biggest supporter, not your biggest critic. Much love.